Jermall Charlo ends a long inactivity period and comes back, snaps back with another win, stays undefeated, beats Jose Benavidez Jr. Let's talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Sensational card last night. I really enjoyed it. I'm just processing everything the next day. I'm gonna kick out some videos, so make sure you guys subscribe. Still got a breakdown. I did it on the watch party, but that's live. I like to gather my thoughts and think about what I witnessed, and I'll still do the Andrade versus Benavidez fight. Great performance by both, especially the winner, David Benavidez, so stay tuned for that. Now, I gotta give you a quick PSA with this Jermall Charlo fight. You guys can listen to me, somebody's been in the game, been doing it, the highest level possible, elite ego. Or you can listen to the haters and the naysayers and get your information that way. For me, it still pays the same. It don't matter what you do. I'm still going to put out my thoughts. But the reason I'm saying this is because Jermall Charlo, I see a lot of varying opinions on how he did. And I'm a straight shooter. I give you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, Jermall Charlo, I thought he looked exceptional, all things considered. What do I mean, all things considered? Well, when I break down the fight, knowing what I know, which is everything about boxing, I know the intangibles. I know when they last fought. I know who they are, what their image is, what their brand is. I've covered a lot of these guys' fights live, like Jermall Charlo, covered several of his fights. So I know kind of the expectation of how he should perform. What I didn't know is how Jermall Charlo would look coming off of a nearly 3-year layoff, especially since he said he had a lot of anguish and different thoughts running through his mind, family drama, and just inactivity. Because barring the, let's just put the family drama and potentially arguing with your brother at points and all this other stuff, let's set that to the side, because that in and of itself is his own bag and his own baggage, right? Just being inactive for 3 years, not many people can do that, come back and look good or win. Like, you've seen it even with fighters who temporarily retire, like Ricky Hatton, I believe. Ricky Hatton came back after a long retirement, after he got knocked out by Floyd Mayweather, hit the turnbuckle, after Manny Pacquiao, I believe Ricky Hatton, I will right? So he retired, don't know what he was doing in his offseason, came back and fought a guy, Vyacheslav Senchenko at the time. And he started off pretty good in the fight. It was a 10-rounder, scheduled 10-rounder, and he gets knocked out in the 9th round, So it don't matter if you started good. Andrade started good versus Benavidez, but the end result was he got knocked out, just like Ricky Hatton. So the point I'm making, and keep in mind, Vyacheslav Senchenko, he's all right, but he got knocked out by Paulie Malignaggi, who's not even a big puncher. And then later he got knocked out by Kell Brook. So basically, realistically, I got my chocolate right hand brownie, and I'm going to hit him with a couple things, right? Realistically. So Ricky Hatton, off of inactivity, wasn't able to beat a guy like that, who, again, lost to Malignaggi and Kell Brook. So the point I'm making is I've watched boxing my whole life and studied the craft, and it's really hard to break these long spells. Like Floyd Mayweather did it when he fought Ricky Hatton, knocked him out, retired, semi-retired, whatever, and then he came back and fought Juan Manuel Marquez off of a 21-month layoff. You also seen guys like Andre Ward do it. He had a legal issue and he came back to the Paul Smith fight. So those are exceptions to the rule, because we know these guys retired undefeated, phenomenal anomalies in the sport of boxing. So I didn't know quite how Jermall Charlo would return, and I was impressed. His timing didn't look bad. I'm just going to be real and keep it frank with you, right? I thought he was going to look a lot worse. But Jermall Charlo, he wasn't cutting his hair. His demeanor seemed like it was changed. People were talking about how he got slapped by Caleb Plant. So I knew that, plus the inactivity, plus the family drama, plus his demeanor seemed different. Plus he didn't seem as Like, I think Charlo is a guy who, his emotions and his anger and aggression really kind of helps his style, right? When he doesn't like an opponent and really wants to hurt him, like J-Rock or whatever, and you get the best out of Charlo. But if you're a bit more passive, like he was kicking it with Demetrius Andrade, I think they did something for charity for Thanksgiving, things like that. So that coupled with the fact that he was inactive, I really didn't know what to expect. And I'm just being real. I envisioned that it could go a lot. I wasn't hoping this, but I envisioned like, hey, this could go wrong if he's not really like back. So I was pleasantly surprised with Charlo's boxing. Athleticism still intact. Timing was there. He said he felt ring rusty, and he said y'all couldn't really tell, but it was there. But that's good. You picked up the win. You move on. Your timing will only get better with your activity and staying in the gym and getting your mind all the way back right. So very impressive. Outside of the athleticism and the timing and seemingly not too much ring rust, he was never hurt in the fight. He, in the later rounds, started to really pick off his shots on Jose Benavidez. Benavidez is a tough cookie, you know what I'm saying? He's a tough SOB. But outside of that, it was pretty much a shutout for Jermall Charlo, and he was just picking off his shots very nicely, doubling, tripling, at times quadrupling the jab. Also, sometimes he was sending like 2 to 3 hooks, which is, you have to be athletic and have some type of timing and coordination to do that. Like Roy Jones is, athletic freak, and he'd do that where he does the rapid fire hooks with the same hand I'm talking about. Not like, wah, wah, wah. Like I'm talking about the same hand you hooking. So I was impressed. I was really impressed. Happy to see Charlo back. See, there's a lot of haters in boxing, and there's even some racists in boxing. So at the end of the day, they prey on men's downfalls. They hoping and praying that Charlo, because they don't like him or whatever. I don't do that. You know what I mean? I humanize the sport. These are regular people who just happen to fight, and I don't wish bad for the fighters and, prey on people's downfall. That's corny to me. But anyway, I thought Jermall Charlo looked very sound, and it's only up from here. He's going to keep stepping up. I think the best next fight, realistic fight, he shouldn't go into like a David Benavidez. It looks like it's Benavidez's time. And if you've been out the ring and you still have the inactivity, you don't want to move up to a new division and your first fight be David Benavidez. I'll tell you straight up. However, Caleb Plant, he's had 2 losses to Canelo and Benavidez. That would be a rightful fight. Or just a Kieron Davis type of fight, just a sturdy. If you can get Anthony Durrell and Jermall Charlo, if he's moving up to 168, these are all good fights. Maybe he chooses to stay at 160. If you fight Carlos Adamez, I believe he's the mandatory, and that's a dangerous fight. So he has options. He has a couple different options for me that I would like to see for Jermall Charlo. But you can listen to me, you can listen to others. People are saying stupid stuff like, oh, fight Terrence Crawford. Crawford doesn't even have issue with Jermall Charlo. In fact, he was at the weigh-in and he was dapping up Jermall Charlo. So, and there's another fight where they're both in the crowd and they're taking pictures. So again, listen to me or listen to people that don't know what they're talking about. Jermall Charlo, he looked very good, all things considered. I give it like a B plus performance when you factor out everything in. Some people don't want to do that. They're going off of like an active Charlo, and that's not realistic. You know what I mean? That's not realistic. That's like if somebody has a learning disability and their paper is pretty good, but it's not perfect. I mean, are you going to grade on a curve, or are you going to hold them to the standard of the Harvard student? You know what I'm saying? When you know they're autistic or whatever, disability they have. Like, you know what I mean? You got to factor in all of the things. Or even like a kid's mind's not fully developed. So if they did pretty good on an advanced test, you're not going to hold them to the standard of somebody who's 22. Or their decision making. A child's decision making is not hopefully, going to be, well, not hopefully, but it's not going to be as good as somebody who's a grown man or grown woman. So I factor, when I'm doing my breakdowns, I factor everything in, everything that I possibly know about the circumstance. So looking at Charlo, he boxed very well. People are complaining, oh, you didn't stop a smaller person. Ironically, Canelo fought his brother, Jermall Charlo, and didn't stop him. And he moved up even more weight, and Canelo's been an active fighter. Canelo also didn't stop John Ryder, who's not a big dude and's been stopped before. So it's just funny how people pick their favorites. Canelo don't have to stop smaller guys or guys who have been stopped before, and he's supposed to be the GOAT. And he's an active fighter fighting 3-4 times a year, but he don't have to stop a 14-pound lighter Charlo. But if Errol Spence doesn't stop Mikey Garcia, you see the race fans come out, oh, how did he not stop Mikey? I mean, he pulverized Mikey for 12 rounds, snack or no snack, right? You look at the Jose Benavidez fight, and people are like, oh, how come Jermall didn't stop a smaller guy? I mean, you're not going to stop everybody, point blank, period. I'll be back with some more heat, David Benavidez versus Andrade, and more breakdowns. Make sure you guys subscribe for that, and I'm out.